Muchas gracias. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. The talk will be in English, if that's okay for everyone. Yep? Okay. So my name is Victor Mendez. I'm the VP of Engineering of TRUSTYOU since 2 years now. And I'm very excited to be here to share 15 minutes of your time explaining what we do at TRUSTYOU and how we do it, and the challenges we are facing. So before I start, how many of you already know what TRUSTYOU does? Yeah, so some people, okay. Let me try to explain with an example. Certainly many of you have bought something online, maybe Amazon or some other online shops. How important was for you the reviews of the article you were about to purchase? I guess very important, right? Okay, so the same happens in the industry we work for, which is hotels, hospitality. Basically, what we do at TRUSTYOU and our mission is to make sense of these online reviews, because we see that the importance in the perception of the branding is huge, and at the same time, they influence very critically the decision of purchase of the customers. So all we do at TRUSTYOU Engineering is to try to make sense of online reviews. Now, what does that mean? What does making sense of something mean? It means for us, if we take an example, this would be a review, to extract as much valuable information as we can from a review. So we start with the plain text, and data acquisition is a completely different problem. So when we have a review, first thing we do is entity resolution and semantic analysis. Let's put an example. So the hotel, the location was good, but the bed was not clean. First thing we do is to extract the entities here. So location would be an entity. We need to know that that is a noun. And good is an attribute. So we take pairs out of that. So location, good, bed, not clean. Second step is semantic analysis, or making sense of that. And later on, what we do is sentiment analysis, meaning what was the intent of the person who wrote the review with that phrase. So we know that good location is something positive about it, while not that clean bed is negative. At the very end, what we do is we categorize all these sentiments in different dimensions from different points of view. The first one would be from the content, meaning what category was this person talking about? Was it the location? Was it the cleanliness of the room? Was it the quality of the food? And also from the reviewer point of view. Was this person a solo traveler? Was he traveling with his family? Because we all try to forecast the satisfaction with our experiences using similar profiles as ourselves. This by itself is a whole challenge. Now, we are talking about one review. Maybe I can show this live. This could be a review for a hotel in Berlin. You see here all this information about these different categories we were talking about. And we are able to categorize, aggregating this information and comparing it with the rest of the hotels in the city. And that's why we give these badges or awards to these reviews. This part on the top is the categorization from the reviewer side. So this is for families or for solo travelers. The interesting thing is that we are doing this in 26 languages, which is not an easy thing to do. Then, if we come back to the presentation, again, this is just one review, and this is not an easy thing to do, but things get even exponentially more complex when we are dealing with the biggest reviews database in the world. So we have 1 billion reviews in our database. This means that simple tasks such as data acquisition or crawling, as we put here, become critical. We need to be scalable, we need to be efficient, and we need to be reliable, because our customers are expecting those reviews to make informed decisions. The next thing is the duplication. How do we know that a review that we get into the system is not already in the system? That's very simple if we have a database with 10 entries. Now, with 1 billion reviews in the database, that means we need to use big data technologies to address the challenge. The same goes for aggregation or classification. And at the very end, once we have extracted all the information from the reviews, we use machine learning to automatically generate texts that summarizes reviews. So in TRUSTYOU, we have two main customer segments and two main products. This is exactly the product I was talking about before. For an individual, it is very easy to go through 5, 6, 7 reviews. The same for a hotel. So if they are checking about the reputation online, they can check, 6, 7, 8, fine. Now, what do you do when you have 4,000 reviews? You cannot read them all, so you need some kind of assistance to make sense of what that means. So let's try to see this live. This is Google. This is, well, as I said, I'm a fan of eat your own dog food, meaning that we checked for hotels before coming to Alicante. This is the Google page. You see some information about reviews, which, by the way, is provided by us. But the most important or interesting thing here is this one. When you are dealing with a lot of information, a lot of reviews, the typical thing to do is to use stars, because they are easily aggregated. And that's why most of the sites you are visiting usually have some kind of categorization. But what if you were able, let me see around here, what if you were able to do the same segmenting by traveler type in different categories? This actually is so useful that for some hotels we are working for, they make the reviews that they get here, divided by categories, their KPIs, such as Accor Hotels, which is an incredibly big hotel chain with more than 5K hotels. So you can check this live if you want. Okay, that was quick. The second interesting product that we have is how to make use of this information from the other side of the spectrum. So we saw that this influences purchasing these decisions, but obviously the service providers want to know how to influence that. And this is the suite that hotels, big chains, are using in order to understand customer feedback. Let's move a bit into the architecture. So what we do is we acquire the data from more than 500,000 hotels. We are getting around 3 million new reviews per week. And obviously, we need to put all this information into a huge cluster. It's around 140 nodes now. We do semantic analysis, aggregation, and then we have different models for machine learning and text generation. At the very end, this ends up in an API that Google, Hotels.com, Kayak, and many other big players in the industry consume, and also us in our own products. The tech stack is mainly Python and Spark, obviously, for big data, the Hadoop cluster, and many other libraries built on top of Python. Now, what are our next challenges? This is the most interesting thing for me. So the most immediate one is to reduce the feedback cycle. We get reviews, as we saw, but there's still a latency in the processing of this data until we can inform our customers that these reviews have been processed. So as we saw, we are using Spark. Spark uses some kind of batching, and we want to move away from batching towards a reactive, near real-time event data pipeline. So that will be a big challenge in the next months. The second one is also interesting from both the technical and the business point of view. We've seen the importance of reviews. We all know the importance of reviews. And we are the leader in the hospitality and restaurant industry. But I guess we all can imagine about new business domains to which this can be applied, right? I don't need to go into the details because this is highly confidential yet, but we will be expanding to new domains. And by the way, that also creates not only a challenge from the company point of view, but also from the technical point of view, because semantic analysis is very context dependent, meaning that, so for instance, you probably know that in Greenland, they have like 10, 12 words maybe to describe different types of snow, because they need it. They need to be more precise describing their environment. Well, the same goes for restaurants. We had a very interesting case a year and a half ago when we expanded to the Japanese restaurant market. To me, it was interesting to know that there are around 12 to 13, 14 types of sushi restaurants in Japan. That was quite interesting. So that depends a lot on the context. Yeah, so looks like an adventure, looks like a very interesting challenge to tackle. So if you think that this is for you, well, we obviously need your proactivity and your talent to make this happen. Finally, who we are. We are TRUSTYOU. We are a German company headquartered in Munich. We have a development office in Romania, Cluj-Napoca, and also some other sales offices around the world, Tokyo, Singapore, San Diego. We recently opened a development subsidiary in Madrid, and this is the reason why we are here, to get in touch with people like you. So that's all, in case there are any questions. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hi, thank you very much for your talk. I was wondering if you could explain a bit more of the types of challenges you experience when crawling and getting all of those reviews.
Mm-hmm. So the topic crawling is very interesting. I would like to explain that from a more global point of view. So crawling is a part of data acquisition, right? We have business deals with the most important OTAs to get the reviews from them, but we also get data with our own means. So that was a very simplified diagram. With most of our customers, we are also getting data back from internal surveys. So whenever you visit a hotel, many times when you leave, you get a survey to give feedback to the hotel.
So you have two sources.
Yeah, we are also using that information. Now, there are also other places in the world, for instance, China, where business deals with foreign companies are not possible, simply not possible. In that case, we revert to crawling. And, crawling has challenges of its own, yes.
Could that become a challenge when you want to move towards real-time acquisition of those kind of reviews?
It will be a challenge. Yeah, that's why we need good people to help us with that challenge.
Thank you.
More questions? No? We have 1 minute for questions. No? Anybody?
Thanks for the talk. I have a question. How, when you are crawling, you have the ability to identify if a person went solo to the hotel or with the family by the type of comment they do, or that's only able when you obtain it directly from the hotel?
That is very dependent on the source. So we are getting information from different sources. Booking.com, I think, provides that information. For most of the sources we are getting data from using APIs, we can get that information. We also get that information from surveys, which is the other type of income information that I talked about, but not for all sources. That's right. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, one last question. No? So, thank you.
Thank you very much.